Hello and welcome back to Albert vs. the Asylum. Today, we're talking about Flight World War II. That's right, if you saw Airplane vs. Volcano and you thought, you know what, this movie's great, but what it really needs is more time travel and Nazis, then boy howdy do we have the movie for you today. This is the third movie from the Asylum that I've reviewed that involves people in an airplane for most of the film. Why does the Asylum make so many movies with people in airplanes? Well, because you only need like the one set and you already have the built-in drama of having everybody in the air already. How does this one stack up against the others? Well, let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just reached our cruising altitude. This is William Strong, your pilot for this ride across the pond.
Please make yourselves comfortable. You will be on this flight for the rest of the movie. Wait. Go back. That guy right there. He's reading a newspaper about Mega Shark. This movie just became like 5 times better just by association because we are in the Mega Shark movie universe, baby. You think they have to do PSAs about how that, like, in spite of all the Megalodon attacks, flying is still the safest way to travel? I like to think that that's a thing in this universe. Meanwhile, the cockpit instruments begin to malfunction.
Understood, IA-42. You're looking at clear skies ahead of you in all directions. Let us know if you need assistance.
Will do, IA-42.
I've heard of unreliable weathermen, but that's just ridiculous. A giant wormhole opens up in the sky in front of the plane. As they pass through the wormhole, the man holding the camera has a complete frickin' seizure.
It's night already. Sunset wasn't for another 40 or 50 minutes. We didn't black out or anything, did we?
Captain Strong gets on the intercom to calm the passengers' fears about whatever it was that just happened to them.
You'll notice that while we're going through that storm, the sun went down. That'll happen sometimes when you cross the tip of the Bermuda Triangle. Don't worry, you'll catch another sunset tomorrow.
You're flying from Dulles to London. My geography's a little bit rusty, but I don't feel like you should be anywhere close to the Bermuda Triangle.
Anyone else's internet connection down?
Yeah, my phone signal's dead too.
Oh, right, yeah. Sun disappears prematurely, no problem. Internet goes out? Oh, it is time to panic now, guys. Clearly something is wrong. There is no internet on this plane.
It got dark early, didn't it?
I'm sure it's just because of the storm, like the captain said.
Actually, the captain said it was because of the Bermuda Triangle, but frankly, I think the storm thing is probably a better cover story.
So what brings you gentlemen to England, business or pleasure?
Both.
We're history professors at Eton University. There's a convention just outside of London.
So, what's the business there? Well, obviously, this is the bad guy. I mean, for starters, he's old, and old people are creepy, and he's writing stuff down in a journal. It's just messed up. Since all the instruments have gone offline, the captain decides to descend and see where they are. Where they are turns out to be in the middle of the bombing of London.
As soon as the captain has things under control, I am sure that he'll inform us as to
Hey, I'm trying to get some answers, okay?
As soon as we know what's going on, sir, we'll let you know.
What? No! No, we want answers.
You just flew through a squadron of German planes bombing London. What could you possibly think the flight attendant knows about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, our apologies for that scare. We got blown off course a little bit because of that storm, but we appear to be out of danger.
Sometimes a storm just happens to throw you right into the middle of the World War II bombing of London. It happens. People who don't fly very often don't know about it, but it does. Pretty common, actually. The history nerds try to force their way into the cabin to convince Captain Strong that they've flown through a wormhole into the middle of the bombing in World War II. And, of course, Captain Strong is having none of that, because that's a really stupid idea.
If we come across another one of those
Even if you were right, which is a massive, massive if, how do you propose we get back, huh?
we look for another weather anomaly. If one of those things brought us here, another one should be able to bring us back.
Or it could take you back to the time of the dinosaurs. Or to the distant future. Or to another planet. Actually, not a lot of well-established ground rules when it comes to flying an airplane through a wormhole.
We're having electrical issues.
What about the planes? And the bombs?
Woman, I said it was electrical issues! Why you gotta always be criticizing?
Let's keep an eye out for storms.
Don't you start. Time travel storm chasing, this is insane.
I know.
Hey, stop making fun of the premise of the movie, okay? That is my job! They finally pick up a signal and discuss their predicament with an allied radio operator named Nigel.
We've been flying blind. We think we just saw some German bombers.
Obviously, because time travel is ridiculous, the Germans must have gone to war again with the same technology they had in 1942. I mean, what is even up with that?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have information that this flight crew has neglected to give us.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to
Get your hands off of me. And I know how this is gonna sound, but I believe that somehow we have traveled through time.
Dang it, stop laughing at the premise of your own movie!
Do you know what this means? Right now, as we speak, we're flying over France in June of 1940. On the ground, Hitler has joined his forces, and we, all of us, we have one opportunity to change human history. We can kill Hitler.
You know, I actually like this train of logic. I mean, it makes as much sense as anything else in the movie, and it sets up a really interesting and believable conflict.
You think you can stop us? I don't think you want to find out. We could use you in this plan, Sergeant. You could be heroes. I prefer not to fight over this.
I love the delivery of this line. It implies, but I will if I have to. And I will win. Of course they do fight, and the people who want to kill Hitler lose. Yeah, suck it, people who want to kill Hitler. Sit back down. Except for you, Quentin Tarantino, you're okay. You can keep standing up. Of course, the other travelers have read enough science fiction short stories about time travel to know that killing Hitler is almost never a good idea.
The Axis will have this plane, the technology, and that book, which will tell Hitler everything. There'll be a Nazi flag flying from the White House, all because you wanted to be a hero.
In the cockpit, Captain Strong gets Nigel back on the radio.
I've talked things over with command, as well as the boys on the Western Front, and, well, we're inclined to believe you. Not about the, time travel, you understand.
Yeah, because that would be crazy. Nigel reveals that the Battle of Dunkirk went badly for the Allies, which means that we're now in an alternative timeline. Which kind of makes you wonder, how many other things have changed? Maybe in this timeline, Hitler's a good guy who's trying to stop the sort of oppressionistic British expanse into France. This Nigel guy can't be trusted.
We've been flying with our nav lights off, but we can turn on our landing and running lights.
Are you sure about that? Most of our systems are out.
They're analog, right?
They are light bulbs. There is no analog or digital. The term does not apply.
Your way.
When they turn on their lights, they attract the attention of some German planes, and we see that the Germans are already using jets in this timeline. Unfortunately, unlike Airplane vs. Volcano, Airplane vs. World War II era fighter jets is actually less exciting to look at than you'd think. Eventually, they manage to lose their pursuers by going into a deep dive and pulling out at the last second. And I'm sorry, but I am just not buying it. I don't care how much technology has progressed. I don't believe that any era's giant airliner is more maneuverable than a single-engine fighter. It just ain't happening. In the wake of the attack, Captain William Strong goes out to talk to the passengers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your captain, William Strong. And it's time I tell you the truth.
Did you notice how I paused after time right there? The Allies plot to blow up the plane to keep it from falling into the German hands. I told you they were evil! I told you, don't trust that Nigel guy! He's the bad guy!
Safe.
The captain asks for help repairing the landing gear, and a female engineer and a Hispanic handyman offer to assist.
You know time travel is impossible, right?
Of course I do.
All things are possible if you have faith.
And through the power of faith and a small donation to Faith Time Industries, you too can travel to the historical era of your choosing. Strong tries to climb onto the landing gear, but Hector stops him and goes instead. Hector whacks the shrapnel with a hammer he just happened to be carrying in his carry-on luggage. He gets the shrapnel loose and the landing gear opens with him still hanging on.
Hang on! Close the landing gear now!
Open it, close it, open it, close it. Jeez, make up your mind already. Unaware that Nigel is evil, they make contact with him again.
My God.
You broke off contact so abruptly, I feared the worst.
Specifically, I feared that our guys shot you down. Yeah. They give Nigel more information about the radar, not realizing that he is the seed of Satan incarnate.
The area for signals and puts blips on the screen indicating our distance. That's about it.
That certainly sounds simple enough.
Oh, sure, you can throw one together in your backyard in an afternoon. The history nerds come up with a plan to drop the plane's radar to the thrall of Cthulhu wrapped in human flesh, known as Nigel.
What about changing history?
From what we've heard, seems like history's already been changed.
They lost the battle at Dunkirk. I mean, who knows what else is different down there?
This is exactly my point! Stop trusting one side to be good just because they were good in your timeline! The evil British Empire fires a missile at the plane, but it explodes early and doesn't bring the plane down.
Nigel, come in! Come in, Nigel!
Will, thank God. I thought I lost you for good.
We're still here for the moment, my friend.
No thanks to you, you worm-infested servant of death.
You'll be able to make the drop.
They tell Nigel they're going to drop the radar, and of course now he calls off the missiles. Because this technology will give him superiority over the heroic German liberation forces. They drop the radar with a parachute made out of ponchos. The heroic Germans try to keep it out of the unspeakable clutches of the English, but they're tragically gunned down. See? The British tried to shoot them down anyway now that they have the radar. I told you they were evil.
Bloody hell, you found it.
Can you believe this? We won't have ponchos like this for another 40 years. Nigel sets up what must be the most ghetto radar in the world and tries to send our heroes into the path of some German planes.
It really is World War II. It just could not be anything else.
What kind of line is that? What did you see that only just now you're like, oh wait, no. Actually, the time travel thing that I didn't believe in because it was stupid, now I believe it, guys. I've seen enough German fighter jets. It's a real thing. Nigel realizes that he can't kill the airliner, so he gets rid of it the only way he knows how, by sending it back through the wormhole from whence it came.
We can't thank you enough for everything you've done.
That's what allies do, Captain.
After the cameraman has another seizure, the plane lands safely in Germany.
TXL? What year is it?
I like your sense of humor, Captain.
Obviously, it's the year 47 of the Allied Empire of Evil.
That's everyone. There's one more gentleman in the back, though.
Then it isn't everyone, is it, woman? It's Nigel! Don't let him get away! He's evil! He came back to mock you and your failure to change history for the better! So that was Flight World War II. And for what it is, it's actually pretty good. All the characters make sense. They reacted more or less a believable way to the situation that they're in for a lot of the movie. For a little bit there, I was nervous about that one guy who wanted to kill Hitler, but even he turned out to be basically a reasonable guy once he realized the problems with his plan. The dogfighting stuff was pretty hokey, but the sequence where they're dropping the landing gear and the sequence where they're trying to figure out how to get the radar to the ground in time and safely are both really, really cool. Air Collision is still my favorite one of these takes place on an airplane movies, but this one actually surprised me by how much I enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm still holding out for the movie where the plane full of zombies goes back to dinosaur times, but yeah, I'll take this for now. As always, I've been Albert. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more, and we will see you again next week with another Albert versus the Asylum. So stay tuned.
Let's go!
Imagine how much tension this scene would have lost if they'd driven around the empty cardboard boxes in slow motion.